Hey, Sweeney Junior High Band. I am here this week to explain a lot of the forms that have gone home. So I'm going to base it mostly off of our beginning of year checklist. The very first thing says I have updated my CHARMS profile. So CHARMS is a database that we use to keep track of financials, inventory, all those kinds of things. And we're trying to use it more efficiently this year, so we need you to log in and update your information. So you go to charmsoffice.com. There'll be a section that says login, and you'll make sure that you go to the parents, student, and members section. I will ask for a school code. That's Sweeney Band, all one word, capital S, capital B. The password should be your student ID number. We found a few ID numbers that haven't worked or got inputted incorrectly. So if that's the case, please just email me and we'll get it reset. And I'll double check with kids as we're checking in forms too. The next one, I have read the band handbook and turned in the acknowledgement form. In your student's band binder, they have a bright orange piece of paper with a QR code and a link. So you basically have 3 different ways to try to find the handbook. There's a link on the beginning of your checklist, there's a link here, and there's a QR code that you can scan. This is basically just saying, yes, I have read the handbook and I acknowledge all the rules that are in it. The next one is my filled out medical release form. That's this one. It's a light blue one. So we need this one for any trips that we take so that if something happens medically to your child, we can medically help them. The next one, I have a personal instrument or I have returned my instrument contract. So if you already have a personal instrument that you got from Collins or Music and Arts or a family member, you can check that one. If you play a school-owned instrument like French horn, tuba, or baritone, or a few other students that have checked in with us, they'll receive this light pink sheet, and it's a contract for school-owned instruments. So the most important things is that you initial here and sign here, and that way you know and we know that you're going to take care of the instrument. There's also the one about the band Google Calendar. The link is a little bit weird, so I figured it out. It looks like it's 2Q lowercase l-e-l. It's actually 2Q capital I-E capital I-V-Q. So that's the little weird thing about that one. But that'll allow you to subscribe to our Google Calendar, add all of the dates to your calendar, or it'll at least let you see the dates so you can go through, and if you're like me and like a paper planner, then you can write them all in. There's also one for the private lessons interest form. I know the letters are kind of weird and the numbers are kind of weird. Just make sure you type it in correctly and it should allow you access to that survey. This is something new that we're trying to do here in Sweeney. We have a lot of kids that want more help than what we can necessarily offer in class. And we are doing our best to find individuals that can individually help your kid. That way they get one-on-one time for about 30 minutes a week. And you pay the private lessons instructor, and they are able to get better at a much faster rate because they're getting more instruction time from someone that's very proficient on their instrument. One other form that's gone home, but that's not on the beginning of your checklist, is our permission to travel form. For beginners, this really only applies to one trip that we take in the spring. For symphonic and concert band, it'll apply to all of our contests and festivals and stuff like that. So we have to have this in order to let your student on the bus. The next one is I have all necessary supplies. All students need a pencil pouch with 2 sharpened pencils that it's going to go inside their binder. They need to have a wire stand for home practice. That way they can see their music while they're working on it. Beginners need to bring $10 for their band t-shirt and $10 for their band beginner book, except for percussion, whose book is $28 because it's 2-in-1 because they have mallet and snare. Symphonic and concert, everybody needs to buy the new formal band polo. This is a new shirt this year. It's going to have our new band logo on it. And we're using the same polo 7th through 12th grade. So if your child doesn't grow too much, then they could use it theoretically for 6 years. Symphonic and concert band also needs to make sure they get the tuner, metronome, and clip. And then I have all instrument-specific supplies. The back of the page, I'm sorry that these are all backwards, has all of the school supplies that you need for your specific instrument. So if I'm a flute player, I'm going to look here and notice the brands and make sure that my instrument's one of those brands. They need a cleaning swab and a tuning rod. So you have to make sure you have all those things. Percussion, you have 2 different sections. There's beginner percussion and symphonic and concert band percussion. So beginner buys a kit, and then symphonic and concert band, you have to make sure that you have a stick bag and these sticks, or you're buying one of these stick packs that has all these things put together in it for you. One other thing that you can sign parents but isn't due for a little while, all of our band classes have received objective sheets. So these are all the goals that we have for the first 9 weeks. So this way you're aware of what you should be hearing and seeing your student practice at home, So you sign it down here at the bottom. This is going to be turned in at the end of the 9 weeks so that they can show us that they're attempting and hopefully passing off all of their objectives. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at bmitchell@sweeneyisd.org, and I'd be happy to help you answer any of these questions. We already have a pretty nice stack of forms that got turned in yesterday, so kudos to all those parents that did that. And again, if financial issues are arising, please let us know, because we can make sure that we are taking care of that. We don't want money to ever be a reason that a kid doesn't get to be in band. So I hope this helps with all the questions that you have about forms, instead of just your kid shoving a binder in your face and saying, please sign all these things. But yes, please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.